Hello and welcome to the Penciled In podcast. I am Nikki. This is Mike, and over there in the corner, as always, we have the stunning producer Peta. And joining us today, we have the referee of all referees. We've got Steve Grimshaw, not to mention one of the hosts of Top Line Podcast. Welcome, Steve. Woo!
Buenos Yeah, not too bad. How are you?
Good. Thank you so much for joining us.
My pleasure.
One of I guess we'll just get right into it.
Absolutely. Why not?
I want to know all about Primetime Pastimes.
Right.
Which is one of the things that you guys do over on Top Line Podcast. I have been watching through some of them today, and my absolute favourite one has got to be Max Brooker talking about Phantom of the Opera.
Yes.
It's just fascinating. I could listen to that man talk all day about Phantom of the Opera.
It was genuinely so soothing.
Yeah.
Because it was quite passionate at the same time. No, it was very
legit.
We never expected.
We almost had a 3 or 4 hour podcast. I'm not going to lie to you.
Really?
So, because there was so much to talk about with it. He's one of those guys and it took me by surprise because backstage at a show, and I should say, I'm a referee. I saw Max backstage at a show. He was wearing a Hamilton t-shirt, and I was like, Hamilton. I don't see you as a Hamilton guy. And we talked a little bit more. We talked a little bit about Les Mis. We talked a little bit about Phantom of the Opera. And I already had the twinkle of an idea of the podcast at that point. I should say the concept was already there, but I was like formatting the podcast a little bit in my mind. I was thinking, this would be a great guy to have on the podcast because it would blow people's minds to know that he is a theatre kid, that he is into Phantom of the Opera. Phantom of the Opera is actually my favourite musical as well. So to have so much common ground that we can delve into, it was really, really fun. And I agree. I think it's one of the best podcasts that we've put out there. But I didn't have to rein it in. I thought I'm gonna have to snip some bits. I do a lot of research into these podcasts that I do, and I do think that's one of the things that I try and bring to the table as a podcaster, I guess now. And I do a lot of research, and there was pages and pages and pages. We had not just a musical; we had the book. We had all the films that are around Phantom of the Opera, the true life sort of Eric character that the Phantom of the Opera was based on. There was so much meat on the bone there. I could have gone on for ages. And when he started talking about the sequel and mixing in little bits of Les Mis, I thought we can go on forever here. But I had to rein it back because, number one, I want to get him back on the show at some point, probably next year, where we either talk about the sequel or we talk about Les Mis or we do something else in that space. But yeah, really, really fascinating man, lovely guy. Shocked to everyone when we found out he was a theatre kid, and that really paid dividends. That episode.
It was wildly interesting. And what I was going to say was, like, obviously your podcast, the whole point of Primetime Pasttime is kind of like finding out a little bit about the people behind the wrestlers and like what their hobbies are, which is kind of what we're also trying to do. We want to find out what people's like hobbies are and what their obsessions are and what, other than like kind of what made you a wrestler and, all that stuff.
This is exactly it. Because a lot of the times when I'm having car trips, when I'm backstage, you could almost see the light in wrestlers' eyes die out a little bit every time we talk about wrestling because they talk about wrestling so much. They don't want to talk about wrestling on these little trips. I've been on trips with wrestlers and for hours, and wrestling has maybe come up once. But we've talked films, we've talked music, we've talked everything except wrestling because they talk about wrestling all the time.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I love seeing passionate people be passionate. and when they're talking about their loves, it shines through. Hopefully, it shines through on the podcast as well.
It really does. Yeah. It really does. And your enthusiasm and Gav's as well. And you actually touched on it because I know Pete was going to ask about kind of like the research and everything and the effort that you put into it. It's so obvious. You can see that it's a real labor of love. Like, you found out what this person is into, and then you've gone away and you've researched it and you've got everything together, and then it comes across. And then when people are you talking about, you know, like your hobbies and stuff with someone else, and then you get a bit of a vibe going, a rapport, and you let the guard down, and you start to get a real feel for the person. And our whole thing is about supporting indies and stuff, and a big part of that is supporting the wrestlers themselves. So getting to see them as people and what they love and what they're into and stuff, it really helps you connect with them, and it makes you want to support them even more. So stuff like what you guys are doing just shines a light on that even more. I love that.
Well, it's also a bit sly as well of me, because it very much is still about wrestling, because by finding out this information, we also find out what's feeding into their characters. Like the biggest example of this is probably Rob Drake when we did the episode on X-Men. Very, very obviously, he was taking a lot from some of those characters to portray his character, namely Wolverine, Sabretooth, Juggernaut. All those characters sort of bleed in, and you can tell that. So, yeah, it's all about, and some of the best wrestlers will say this. They do watch wrestling, but a lot of their greatest sort of influences isn't wrestling. It's TV, it's movies. It's all these other facets that they can dip into to make them unique. T.L. Dotson has done it as well. I mean, he says that one of his sort of go-to characters is from what's he called? The Ebony Moore from Marvel. Avengers, Endgame, and all that jazz. And you can see it once you've recognized that, you can see it in him. So yeah, it is a bit of a sort of a secret delve into the mindset of where the characters come as well, but they're saying it from a much more passionate way than the usual sort of template of podcast of, so where'd you learn how to wrestle?
Yeah.
Just
what made you decide to be a wrestler? And
exactly. And we do have that. We do have about 10 minutes at the start of every episode, because people will be expecting an element of that. But generally, I try and move on as quickly as possible to the stuff that I know they're really going to be passionate about.
Yeah, I noticed. I was going to say, I love that there's a little nugget, like a fact file almost at the beginning. It's like, this is who you are. Tell us about yourself. And it's like, okay, stop. We're moving on to something else now. And I did like that. I admire your ability to hone and keep things on track, because Lord knows we don't.
So I had a horrible jaw infection a few weeks ago, and I made the silly choice of trying to do a podcast with PL Dotson when I had this infection, and we talked about wrestling for so long. Producer Lauren Sandiford got on the image, and she's like, come on, wrap it up. But it's just because I was lacking the instincts that I would normally do, because I was suffering. So
no, not with an infection in your jaw either. That was again, kudos. I won't do it.
But it wasn't long since that I basically went to bed and didn't come back out of bed for 2 weeks after that. So wasn't a good idea in retrospect.
I have to ask, do you have a favorite guest that you've had so far?
I love all of my children equally.
It's a lovely ref answer.
Yes. We're going to be impartial as a ref. I don't know. I will try and give you an answer here, but I'll try and do it as diplomatic as possible. I think what makes a good guest in my Primetime Pastimes podcast, and there's a caveat to this, because there are actually 2 Primetime Pastimes podcasts. That's easy for me to say. There's the one, and then there is the Educating Lauren version as well. But for the purpose of this, I'm just talking about the core Primetime Pastimes one. I think you've got to have an element of surprise and a topic that people want to listen to, and also a person you want to hear more from. So you might be the biggest star in Britwres, but if you've got a terrible topic, or a terrible topic, there's no topic that's terrible, but a topic that doesn't appeal to the individual listener,
Yeah.
then it's not going to hit. So you need that element of both. And I do think it's probably Max Brooker that has that. I want to give a shout out to Jack Johnson as well for the Turbo Man / Jingle All the Way,
All the
because I
way.
know that will have surprised a lot of
That's
people.
Dr. D. Yeah, I was shocked.
Yeah,
Didn't have him down as a
Yeah.
Jingle All the Way kind of guy.
exactly that. So I think those are probably the two that fit that criteria more than anyone. Lucy Simon's Parks and Rec was just so wholesome and lovely the entire way through. That was a favorite to listen to and watch back, because I always watch back my stuff just to make sure that
We're still here.
we still. Oh, good. Just to make sure that I'm not talking absolute rubbish, and to improve my own game, because at the end of the day, this is a performative thing. So I want to be my best as well. So that one has a place in my heart. And I also really enjoyed the Troy Ryan one on NFL.
Yeah.
And the thing about Troy Ryan's and PL Dotson's, these are two subjects I know nothing about. So it was informative for me as well, which I enjoy. But yeah, so in answer, every one of them.
Do you have, is there anybody rocking around the British wrestling scene that you are just, I really want to get you on and listen to you talk about what you love? Is there anybody that you've got that's like, you've got a little list, or just someone that you just you'd love to have?
I've got a big list, first and foremost. So the thing is with this podcast, I was sort of collating the ideas in my mind for a good year before we actually started recording. What we'd done is talking bloody awful there. What I did was I sort of made a little note of every time I thought this could be entertaining and this could be entertaining, and put it in a little note on my phone. And as it came up in conversation, I sort of dropped it on people and asked if they wanted to do it. I'm very conscious that as I'm a referee in the backstage area, I don't want to be pimping my podcast out all the time, because that could put people off and that could be detrimental on my career. So it needs to sort of naturally, organically come up in conversation, really.
Yeah.
And on the car trips as well, things like that. There's 2 people / 3 people that haven't, or rather, okay, I'll be as vague as possible because I don't want to drop anyone in it, and I don't want to spoil the surprise if it does eventually happen. But person 1 is kind of the reason why I wanted to do the podcast altogether. And I'll just say it is about action figures. And that person is so passionate about action figures, but I think they're a little bit concerned about what that may do to their persona, which I understand.
Fair.
They actually said to me, "Look, Steve, I'll do it for you if you want." And I said, "No. If you don't want to do it, that's absolutely fine. I want you to want to do that, because if we're losing the passion, then that makes a bad podcast."
You want the excitement, that eagerness to tell you, yeah.
Exactly that. There's another person who is one of the most obvious people with a passion outside of wrestling in the UK. So the fact that they had gear made up with that passion as well. They have said yes. They have cancelled a couple of times. So that's one that's on the cusp. Hopefully season 3. If not, that's fine. We move on. The third one I've yet to ask, because I've only just started working with this person, but I know they've got a passion involving travel, shall we say. There's more to it, but I don't want to sort of bury the lead. But I know this person particularly loves traveling to this location, and I'm desperate to sort of bring it up in conversation, but I don't know them very well yet. I'm hoping that changes, and I'll drop it into conversation. So those are sort of my big three. The idea with this podcast is to do it as a season. So we do 6 episodes. So you know that every week you're going to get 1 episode per week without fail. So there's none of this stop-start stuff. And then we move on. And we aim for 5 or 6 seasons a year. This year we've got 5 seasons planned. The next one is almost completely sorted out.
Wow.
Halloween is almost completely sorted out. And I've probably got another 30 that I need to figure out where they're going for guests to be on.
What? That's so organized.
So it's juggling.
Wow.
It's juggling. Because it's difficult because I also don't want one season to have 5 films on it.
Yeah.
I want there to be different things,
Variety.
Variety. I'm talking like What's Your Dolmio Day there. Yeah, I want there to be variety in there, and you've also got to space out the guests. Like if I have 5 mega superstar professional wrestlers and someone on the outskirts of wrestling on one of the support roles, like a ref, like a promoter that may not be forward facing and front facing, it's going to seem odd.
Yeah.
So it's all a balancing act, and it's quite weird.
I love it. You're so passionate about this.
I am.
What we want to talk to you about it. Your enthusiasm and excitement for it, and also the fact as well that you knowing your kind of position behind the scenes, not wanting to you wanting that to kind of naturally develop. You're not wanting to be like, oh, you be on the podcast or anything. Like, it's a real.
If it feels forced, the passion goes.
Yeah, you want that's. I think that's why I kind of just posted on Instagram, which is how we wound up speaking. It's just like, does anybody want to talk? It's just like you say, when you get that enthusiasm, then it's much more organic. I think somebody I would love to hear on there. I'm gonna put someone forward. I bet everyone would be surprised though, because there's about 7 subjects you could speak to him about, and he'll go for hours though. And it's Ian Skinner.
Well, yeah, interesting that. Yeah.
So you could ask him about 21 Jump Street, Starship Troopers, comedy, and he'll go for hours. With the enthusiasm of 1,000 suns, but I don't know a single person who is capable of reining him in. So if you do that, Godspeed.
well, watch this space. We shall see what happens on that front.
Oh, exciting.
Say that this was your moment. I didn't listen to it, but what would you go on to talk about? Like any other like specific things that you enjoy that aren't, I don't know, that haven't been discussed? Or if it, like this Phantom of the Opera so specific, is there one like very specific element of something that you enjoy that you would absolutely love to? I am listening. Please know this, but I am going to be looking this way.
Yeah. No, that's absolutely fine. It's weird because we have sort of thought about this, and not really, because I have a lot of interests. Lauren Sandiford, our producer, suggested I talk about T-shirts, because a lot of the time I'm wearing a different T-shirt on the podcast. So, I'm wearing Bam Bam Bigelow right now.
I was trying to figure out what you had on. I could just talk a bit, the flames.
Yeah, nice. And I don't think I've worn this shirt for maybe a year. So I've got a lot of T-shirts. I'm a fat guy, so that's the only thing we can wear really. That and shoes, and I've got loads of shoes as well. Yeah, I don't know. Possibly the Scream movies. But I know Work the Left Side have done the Scream stuff recently with somebody.
I live for the Scream movie.
Yeah. We should just leave these two now, and then you guys just go for it. Don't even worry, it's all good.
I think the thing about the Scream movies, for me, more than anything, is that when you talk about the Scream movies, you're not talking about just that series of 7 films. You're talking about horror movies as a general thing.
Yeah.
So Sorry, I'm this weird knocking next door. I do apologize.
Oh, we can. Our dog's
Oh,
back.
great. In that case, ignore me. I'm having some sort of stroke. Yeah, the thing about the Scream films is that they take elements from lots and lots of other horror films. So you're really looking at the genre in at a macro level when you talk.
Encapsulate the time.
Yeah.
So
Exactly that. So there's a lot to love in the Scream film. So I think I could probably talk for a long time on those. Although the conversation about Scream 7 would be quite short.
Just don't.
Yeah.
Didn't happen.
But certainly, the first two Scream films I talk about for hours and hours and hours. Annoyingly, because I went and saw Scream 2 at the cinema because I'm old. Annoyingly, when I came out of Scream 2, I'd guessed the ending to Scream 3 anyway. So that was that predictable for me.
What?
Yeah.
I'd like to discuss with you about this at some point. So.
Well, spoiler alert for Scream 3, I guess. But the way that the film being Scream 2, the way that it was going was it was obviously going to rules of trilogies. It goes back to the first person, goes back to the original event. So at the end of Scream 2, we knew, right, they're going to make a third one. It's going to somehow go back to the event.
Mm-hmm.
We also know that they're ramping up the meta stuff on Hollywood. So I thought, right, it will be about Hollywood. So we go all the way back. So it'll go all the way back. It'll be about Hollywood. After right, they'll be making one of the stab films this time, and the killer will be a family member, like a long lost brother, the real father, the mother's sort of alive. But I knew it would be a family connection. I knew they'd be making a horror film, and I knew it would be in Hollywood. So I'll take that.
Wow, Detective Grimshaw over here.
I know. But it really spoiled it for me. Because when it did come along, I was like, all right.
See, I don't even recall if I didn't see it at the cinema. So I was a bit off the loop a bit. So I didn't quite see that coming. I have since seen other things coming. But when I was talking about things that Ian Skinner can talk about, Scream is another one. It seems
I can't remember who Work the Left Side had on.
Pardon?
I can't remember because Work the Left Side are doing a thing at the moment with films as well, and I can't remember who they had on. Just because I'm flicking through things, I was like, oh, that'd be interesting, and I just never got around to it. But someone has done it, so I imagine we were treading the same ground. So I probably wouldn't talk about it, but that would be something I could talk about.
Yeah.
There's so many things that we've already talked about which are near and dear to my heart, like Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Massive Buffy the Vampire Slayer fan.
Yeah. That was you had 18 for that, right?
We did. We had 18 for that. We had Big John Rehab talking about basketball, which is again something I played when I was a kid. So yeah, some of the big passions have already been covered, really.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll see. I mean, kayaking is another one. I used to be really, really into kayaking, but not for a very, very long time. Wow. So that would be something I could perhaps talk about for a little while. But
you should do that. Maybe you should have one where it's you or Gav, and we get to hear all about what
you could write a bunch of them that you have, put them into a
thing. You pull one out,
and who's ever it's like
talk about this today.
Oh, no.
Well, we have talked about bonus episodes because Gav, well, peek behind the curtain, like I was saying earlier, we were trying to get one of our guests that unfortunately cancelled and postponed. So we were very late, or much later than we wanted to, in delivering season 2. So because of that, Gav said, I know we're not recording yet. Can we do something else for the podcast? Which is where Educating Lauren came from.
Yeah.
Because I just said, right, what can we do on the quick that I can do a little bit of research on? We don't need to worry about informing a guest or anything like that, and sort of working around their time scale. Yeah. And we landed on an idea that I had a decade ago when I was introducing my friend Darren to professional wrestling, and I did it in the same way. I said, right, let's watch SummerSlam 92, because this is a good overview of so many wrestling legends, and we'll sort of work backwards. So I sort of did the same thing. I said, right, well, let's do that. What I'll do is we'll play on educating Rita. So I said educating Lauren because Lauren's only ever watched modern wrestling.
Yeah.
So I said, right, well, let's do that. Let's do educating Lauren. I will go away. I will compile all the events surrounding this, so it's not just coming at it from the angle of there's so many other podcasts do where it's just let's review the show. We
Yeah.
are reviewing the show, but what we're doing is we're actually talking about taking a snapshot of professional wrestling at that time, where everyone is, where everyone's been, where everyone's going, talking about it like that. So we are informing Lauren of everything, and anyone else who isn't aware of that time scale but doesn't want to go back, isn't sure of where to start.
Yeah.
I think that's a good podcast for them.
Yeah, and it gives context, doesn't it? Context around it.
Yeah, very much so.
And like you say, for anyone who's new to wrestling, just in general, there is so much history and lore, and there's just so much of it, and it's kind of like where do you go? And even if you're not, say, into WWE or anything, there's still so much rich history, so many archives, and even in the independents, things to go through. So it is kind of like, where do you start and how do you start? So having something like that is a really good resource to have. It's a nice way to direct.
The intention is to look at different eras. But we started off sort of in the golden era, towards the end of the golden era, because really I thought that was a good place to start because you've got people who have become stars in WCW. When that happens, you've got people who have been stars in WCW that are coming up to the WWF. You've got a lot of legends in that time which are kind of in flux. So rather than starting off so far away, like WrestleMania 1 would have been the obvious place to start, there's not a lot of meat on the bone with WrestleMania 1 once you get past the politics of how it was created, which we will get to at some point because the whole Black Saturday and the whole NWA and everything like that, there's so much to talk to, but I thought it wasn't the best place to start. I thought with the shows that we've picked so far, we can take elements of those shows and there'll be common threads moving on. We're not just doing WWF, we've done NWA as well, really the beginning of WCW, but still some of the old remnants of the NWA. We've got an AWA show coming up towards the end of the year, which will be interesting because that really will be a culture shock.
Wow.
Yeah, and even this, I've got this planned out for almost 2 years, and they're all common threads and themes.
So organized. Wow.
Well played, sir.
I would say you put us to shame, but we call ourselves Penciled In for a reason. We are just the most disorganized, like as and when.
But you see, there's nothing wrong with that.
Windows.
There's absolutely nothing wrong with that, and that gives you the freedom to move in whatever direction that you want. It's just my style, and I say this with refereeing as well. I'm a very organized referee. It's not everyone's style, but it is my style.
Yeah, that actually
makes sense.
Takes us nicely into refereeing, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. I was actually just going to say, when you say that you're an organized referee, and what does that entail?
Yeah.
What do you mean by that specifically? Because there's so much we have learned, but there's so much that we still don't know.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. So,
depending on what company you work for, they'll give you different ideas of what it is to be a referee, I think. I think, and I'll tell you the reason why I got into refereeing very, very briefly, because it will give some sort of context. So, for years and years and years, I don't know if it's obvious by now. I'm a student of wrestling. I love professional wrestling.
Yeah.
I'm almost a historian, but a bit of a crap one. But I know enough to know where to look for things.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've watched wrestling ever since 1988, 1989. My dad was very impactful on that and getting me on that road. He himself has told me, he's passed away now, but he had told me that he wrestled as the Green Avenger once or twice in as like an enhancement talent at the Blackpool Winter Gardens. So it's always had a little bit of a, oh, this is that thing. So I've watched wrestling practically my entire life to one degree or another. I'd seen wrestling before 1988, but 88, 89, 90 is when I really got into it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he sort of fanned that flame. He had friends in work that used to make VHSs of stuff like All Japan and everything on those cassettes, all muddled, almost like a mixtape. It was weird.
Yeah.
I love those tapes. Just yeah, I mean, I'd see Tommy Billington and Tiger Mask 1 minute, and then I'd see something from 1990 the next minute. It was bizarre, but it really gave me an appreciation of wrestling in a match as an art form. So I didn't have to rely too heavily on the stories that led to the matches. The matches themselves were interesting to me. You understand? So
yeah, oh, yeah. No, it was just the match, straight up matches. Yeah.
Straight up matches. I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
So when we came back, 100%. That was something that we found. We realized that we enjoy wrestling in such a different way. You have to come back into it 3 different times in life. Each time it's been a new thing. Originally, it's just, it's big, it's massive. There's like lights, so many cool catchphrases, when you were a kid, shirts, cables, everything. And then coming into it a bit later, you realize, oh no, these are athletes that really work. And then even further down the line, it's like, oh, they can tell stories properly. They don't need anything. When we started watching,
it was when we started watching Japanese wrestling, and
really realized this storytelling within
in the ring,
purest form, very cool.
They take it so much seriously, and like I say, I was very much when what got me hooked on professional wrestling was sort of the Ultimate Warrior running to the ring. It was the Macho Man Randy Savage in his sequence. It was all the glitz. It was all the glamour. And up until that point, I'd seen Big Daddy, I'd seen Giant Haystacks, I'd seen Tony St. Clair, I'd seen all these people on World of Sport, and it didn't do it. Then when I've gone back and watched World of Sport, I was like, oh my God, this is great.
Yeah.
So it just needs that initial spark, and then you look at it through sort of a different lens.
Yeah.
So fast forward a little bit, and I never wanted to be a professional wrestler. I know that this may shock people considering how much I'm talking right now. I often don't like to be the focal point of attention. And I know that sounds weird, but please believe me when I say that. Because I don't shut up sometimes, and I'm aware of that. And it's a major character flaw, but whatever.
That's passion and enthusiasm. You
wouldn't have this, what you're doing without that.
Oh, stop. Anyway, so I don't like being the focal point of attention. I'd much rather elevate other people in that sort of scenario. And it's with my day job. I don't want to be the manager. I'll be the assistant manager. I'll do the other stuff.
Yeah.
I very much am happier to put them on a heightened position, and that's what made me stop and look at wrestling and referees. And a lot of the referees on the British indie circuit, I noticed, weren't doing things the same way. They were doing things like when there was a big move, they were jumping up and pretending that the canvas is a spring.
Right.
Like, well, why are they doing that? And I was noticing other things. And this is stuff that I hadn't really thought about until I started watching indie wrestling. But I was like, no, that's not the way this should be. This isn't the way this should be. I was lucky enough to go to Grand Pro Wrestling around 2017, 18. And that sort of, because I did go to indie wrestling back in the late 90s, etc. But back then it was very much the Leeds Legion of Doom, and it was the Dudley Undertaker, and you know, there was all these tribute acts, and that wasn't it. But then when I gave indie wrestling another chance, 17, 18, I did it at Grand Pro Wrestling, which is near me, in sort of Wigan, Hindley way, and the referees there were very, very good. One of those referees was James Greenwood. We'll park that for a second. So one of my people that I used to work with and a friend, Lucy Openshaw, became a ring announcer. But before that, I'd seen her on TV watching the UK tournament. And I sent her a message, hey, cool right now watching wrestling. I had no idea you like wrestling. And so, yeah, I'm here with my boyfriend. It's so bizarre, but I love it. And we got to talking, and she sent me a message saying, "Hey, my friend James is doing a referee training course." So the seeds were already in my head
Yeah.
of I'd like to give this a try, but I'm a big guy. Let's be honest, and I'm also keenly aware that big people, well, I'll just say fat people, draw attention in the middle of the ring. So even though I was quite fit for a guy my size, I was very, very concerned that I would mess up the match and whether I could do it or not. So I fired James across a message, say, "Look, I'll come to this. I'm not sure if it's for me, but I love it and I'll happily give it my all." And there was 40 people or something in the original James Greenwood class. And I think of those 40, I think there was about 8 that are still on circuit in some way or another, maybe even less than that.
Wow.
So yeah, so I've stood the test of time to that respect.
Held it down.
The 8 stellar rest. You know what I mean? Saying cream of the crop.
The cream of the crop. Should have worn my Randy Savage t-shirt. So yeah, that's why. And then when obviously I started learning more and more about refereeing, because I'd had that base of a somewhat of an understanding. I'm not saying I was that wise to it, but I had a base of understanding. Then I just was able to build on top of that and was seeing things that untrained people necessarily wouldn't do. Because let's face it, there's a lot of refs on the circuit, and this is the other end of the spectrum where people are thrown shirts and they say, right, get on with it. And half these people, it's no fault of their own. They've never been trained. They don't know what to do. They're just sort of making it up as they go along and sort of feeling a sense for what is right. And not sometimes all it takes is someone to say, well, have you tried doing it this way? And they elevate their game. But yeah, there's a lot of people that were untrained. Thankfully, that number's going down as a percentage of the overall rest. There's some great rests on the scene right now. I don't put myself anywhere near the top of these. I still think James Greenwood, Scott Graham Bell, Sandy Beaches, Katie Walker, Rich Swift, I'm obviously many others that I would put ahead of me. If I've forgotten your name, sorry about that. But yeah, I wouldn't put myself anywhere near up on that upper echelon of them. But there's so many good refs now. Thanks to the effort of James and Scott more than anyone really, that we are sort of weaning out the people who are untrained, and some of the people that are untrained are coming for guidance now for people like James as well, which is even better.
Yeah.
So yeah, I hope that makes sense.
Noticing more so lately, like it seems to be like consistent, like in Britwres specifically. I'm seeing this like group of referees, like you just said, like Scott, Sandy. Obviously, James Greenwood is like the daddy. We always see you see Daddy Greenwood, and then something with that whole walk up the stairs. I will insert that in here because I do have it still. And
don't look directly into his eyes. He's fine.
No. And yeah, Katie and Sandy, everyone, it's wonderful to see, especially as well. It's wonderful to see people like Sandy Beaches, for example, seeing her kind of go off like and doing like deathmatch refereeing death matches and being like she was like the first woman to do that in like I can't remember if it was in Scotland or something, but it's been wonderful to see all these.
Was it Rise? I can't remember if it was Rise or not. Might have been.
I do apologize, Sandy. I can't quite recall what it was, but I remember it happening and thinking that's just so cool. Getting to see this group of referees that we see sipping tea in the photographs and things, just like also going out and achieving things. Like I'm a huge fan of referees. Wore my stripes. I'm not a ref, but I wore stripes in
I didn't
respect.
Yes.
But even when I was younger, I was fascinated with these people in the ring with the shirts on, that they're these big scary guys, and yet the minute this wrestler like woo, like little Earl Hebner. I mean, you know,
Yeah.
Earl Hebner. I didn't know I was a kid, but like, you know, he's this tiny guy, but he could have the mob be like, oh, sorry, you know, and I always found it fascinating, and so I've going through like as long as I've been watching wrestling, I've always been like watching the referees. I have favorite referees. Like there's we really always we always seem like there's some of the little flourishes that referees have. It's almost like a calling card, like a unique thing to them. And it's like it's just yeah, I always have a very profound respect for referees. So I was really excited to get you on to have a referee come on here.
I'm sorry that I was the one that you got. Really, I mean, there are other better ones. It's weird that you say flourishes because I use that phrasing a little bit sometimes as well. Because the key thing with referees is we are supposed to be sort of not pull attention, as I mentioned earlier. We're supposed to don't be seen until you need to be seen, sort of thing. And then that's when you do see those little flourishes.
Yeah,
And it's weird because I was talking to a group of people a couple of years ago and asking them because they were asking me for help on the referees because some of these people that have just been thrown shirts, etc. I said, well, what do you do as a referee? Just tell me, explain to me right now, what is a referee? And some wise ass just goes, someone to count the three. I was like, well, if that's what you're thinking, you've completely not got it.
yeah,
When I said earlier, I'm someone that is very, very organized. There is a split in the trained referees. We all love each other. Don't get me wrong. We were all really, really friendly. The Greenwood guys. So Lauren was one of them initially. She didn't ever actually go into refereeing, but she was in the training sessions. Lauren, Stu Davis, Liam James, Neil Adams, Les Longley, a few others. We would all go for breakfast, etc. So on the days of the training session, so we all used to really, really be quite a tight knit community, and it's the same with Sandy, Lee, and Scott. They're a tight community. Yeah, and we've all been friendly when we've seen each other. Obviously, we don't work with each other all the time, but I send my matches to Scott all the time. Well, a few times, and said, "Can you tell me what you would do differently?" So we've all got a really good relationship on the referee side. But the way that Greenwood has trained us is to use things like whiteboards and to get everything written down rather than people like Scott Bell. Absolutely no shade on this. It's his style. They talk to everyone and they make sure they have a dialogue. There are pluses and minuses to both. But you'll see me at a show with a massive whiteboard coming in, and that is because I and others have the feeling of, well, the wrestlers are looking at their individual matches. The referees have to look at the show as a whole. So we look for things like duplication. We look at the timings of matches. We look at the whole show and try and gain our information from that. We take a note of the moments that we need to plan for. So we're aware of them and we can be organized, and that involves a lot of waiting around looking like a creep next to wrestlers for waiting for them to finish talking. Yeah.
Wanting to kick me
so yeah. So there's a lot of that going around. So I'm very organized in that. I'm always one of the first people to get there. So I'm available. And there's a lot of waiting around for me, but I want to be available, so I'm working on the wrestler's time rather than strolling in last minute saying, right, what am I doing? I want to be available because it's so important to work on the wrestler's time, because the referees aren't stars. The referees are just there to support. That is the key word. We're support staff. So work to the wrestler's time where possible. Ask them exactly what they want. Give your feedback if you feel it's putting you in a weird position, or if it doesn't make sense as far as the rules are concerned. So yeah, there's that, and I'll just touch on three things that I think about as well when I'm refereeing. The sort of three words that I get in my head whenever I'm thinking about refereeing and when I'm around when they're putting a match together. That's credibility. That's number one. Safety and support. So it has to be one of those three things. Am I being credible? Am I acting like a referee should do?
Mhm.
Because if I'm not, why am I there? It's a cartoon. People can get away with everything, and any heat that the when I say heat, any sort of emotion or anger that should be driven towards the performer in the bad guy heel role has a chance of going on me. If I'm doing something stupid, the fans are annoyed at me,
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
not the person they should be annoyed at. So,
Right.
so that falls in with credibility. So a lot of times people might think referees are being harsh by saying, "Well, we wouldn't do that." It's not because we're afraid of looking stupid. We want you to look the best you can. And if all the heat is going on me, it's not going on you. So we're
Right.
failing as a match. So that's the credibility thing. The safety thing is obvious. Make sure you're not putting people at risk. The biggest example I can give for this is there should be a 5 count if someone's outside of if someone's on the corner or on the ropes.
Yeah.
I personally don't do a 5 count if someone is on the top rope setting up for a spot. But if
Okay.
I'm going 1, 2, 3 and they're not set up, they may rush that move and someone could get hurt.
Uh,
So yeah. So I'll subtract a little bit of credibility there, and I'll use my words instead, and I'll signal, "Hey, come on, come down." Be big with my language, but I won't do it to the extent where someone may be harmed.
right. Yeah.
Also,
Yeah.
if there's a big move, stop the match. If there's something that you think someone is generally injured, stop the match. I mean, that should be a given.
Yeah.
I say should be, isn't always, and it frustrates me. Um, at the end of the day, some of these people are wrestling in sports halls or labor clubs or social clubs for 50 to 100 people. Um, you stop the match. You don't need to then take another
Yeah.
10 moves if you've landed on your head.
Safety is paramount, and health and everything. Like, if I'm, as in, just, I think I speak for all of us and pretty much all fans. If anyone is even slightly hurt during the match and you have to stop that match, or if someone's really hurt and you have to stop the whole show, fine.
It is what it is.
It's fine.
Someone's safety.
Yeah, I'm not going to be like, I paid for this. Like, no, it's not that important.
It's not that important.
Yeah,
it's really not.
Yeah, no, it's not life or death. It's entertainment, and it should be like performer priority always.
Exactly. And what I'll say is that I don't know if anyone has ever worked with people with concussions before. If you ask anyone who's got a concussion if they're okay, they'll say, "Yeah, I'm fine."
Yep.
Every single one of them. So sometimes you have to judge yourself and make that call. So that's the safety element of it, and it also extends to sort of knowing your craft well enough to get out of the way. You're the third person in the ring, especially with people like me. Again, we've established I'm a fat ref. I am more of a hazard in that ring than anything else. So I need to make sure that I get out of the way and I understand the moves to an extent that I know what's happening next, so I can be a safe distance and come in at the right angle to make sure nobody is hurt. It's as simple as if someone's coming off the top rope, don't stand exactly opposite them because they're going to roll through. They're going to roll into you.
Yeah.
So that also breeds into the safety element of it. And finally, the support of it. I say this a lot. There is nothing worse, and I mentioned it earlier, than people underselling or overselling a move. And it's both elements, because you've got some people that, and I understand why they do this. They'll jump when there's not even a big move, when there's like a hip toss. They'll jump and go, "Oh God!" So what are you doing? You're pulling attention. You're making it look like the canvas is a spring, and it's most definitely not. So you're taking away from that credibility. I understand that they're trying to give the moment more oomph, but there are ways to do that. You'll see pictures of me, and I'll be making all these grimaces, but I'm not jumping up and wailing my arms around. They're all relatively subtle things. Katie Walker calls it Jim Carrey face. She does it too. So she does it too, and she feels exactly the same way as I do about it. I think that, you know, sometimes we look back and think, oh, maybe that was a bit too much, but some of the wrestlers love it. But you've got to think, if you're a referee, you're supposed to have seen these moves hundreds of times. If you haven't seen these moves hundreds of times, why are you a referee? So there's a credibility element there as well. But yeah, don't overdo it. Don't distract. Don't be flailing your arms all over the place so much that the people are watching you rather than the wrestlers.
Yeah.
But by the same respect, if you undersell a big move, I've seen. You know what a Tower of Doom move is?
Yeah.
So we've seen Towers of Dooms with 4 or even 5 people on one occasion, and I've seen referees go, "Oh, okay, 1, 2." Oh, I was like, what are you doing?
Yeah, that's
it's like that's when you're supposed to react, and that's when you go up big with your can, you go,
yeah,
and that's when you sort of you build that excitement up, because you should be watching a referee in an exciting match. The referee that you see at the beginning of that match should be different to the referee you see at the end. The referee that you see at the end should look sweaty. They should look like they themselves have been through war, because they're selling the fact that, oh my God, this has been a war you've just witnessed. But every time some doddering old man comes over and just gets on his knees slowly and just goes 1, 2 and counts by the arse, not the shoulders. It's so frustrating. So yeah, those are my 3 words that I think about constantly when I'm sort of refereeing. And if you're missing any of those 3 moves, then you're not doing something right.
Fair. But I love that it's everybody's got their own kind of reffing personality and everything. There's different like ways to do things, so many different ways to communicate things and emphasize.
Yeah.
I always, in my head, the way I saw referees was obviously safety guys and everything, but in my head it was almost like your punctuation. I mean that respectfully. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you're putting the full stop, the exclamation, like you're kind of
you're moving things along.
Yeah, you're kind of giving me that extra context in a match.
I'll go one further with this. Yeah. Because yes, punctuation is right. We also try and narrate the match, and we try and frame the match.
You're telling us the story in case we, because sometimes you can't see it, especially me. So as a disabled fan, I can't always see everything that's happening, especially if it goes outside of the ring to the other side. I can't see anything. So a lot of the times I'm actually looking to the referees that I can still see, because usually you guys are still in the ring or at least a bit more visible because of the black and white. So I'm usually looking to find the referee for that, what's going on. And if I'm seeing the referee with the red in their arms or I'm like, okay, it's chaos over there. Exactly. But if I see the referee and they're just stood there, I don't know what's going on. It's not. So it's even to that extent, you're communicating to people who can't even really see what's necessarily going on. And so it really helps me, and I imagine a lot of other people as well. But yeah, as someone who can't always get up and move around to see what's happening at indie shows, I always look to the referee.
What we do it for? You've seen me ref, I know you have, and you've definitely heard me. And the way I say it like that is because I'm a very loud referee. When it matters. And the reason for that is that I am narrating. I'm not talking to the wrestlers, really. I'm talking to the audience. That's why, especially in early matches, every hand movement I've got is high. So if I'm going to the wrestler, they can see that, but nobody else can, which is why I shoot my arm up really, really high and say, 2. But I'll also narrate to the extent, especially in earlier matches, like I was saying, that I will tell the audience the rules as if I'm talking to the wrestlers.
Yeah.
So when someone's in the corner, I'll do the 5 count, and at 4, I'll brush them back. I'll get in their face. Say, hey, come on, what are we doing? And I'll motion towards my neck or something if they've been working the neck.
That's
Hey, get off the neck. You've got to count a 5. So I'm narrating so that everyone understands the rules first and foremost. But also, like yourself, if you can't see, you understand what is happening.
Yeah.
And it's the same with count outs. I'll do some talking before I get them back in the ring. I'll say, "Come on, this is a championship match. What are you doing? I need you on the inside. You can't win on the outside. I need you on the inside." I'll do things like this to reinforce what is actually happening.
Yeah.
Keep it in the center of the ring. I will point to the center of the ring quite a lot. Yeah. So subconsciously, people are trying to say, right, well, this is where it's supposed to happen. Anything outside of that. And it's little things as well. Like I will try and work my hands in a way which I'm diverting attention to the wrestlers. If someone's in a submission, I will pose my hands in subtle ways to try and get different reactions. I will, and I might as well tell you this one because I imagine you might have realized this anyway. But oftentimes a referee will smack the canvas.
Yeah.
The reason we do that is a couple of reasons. So number one, about the credibility. If someone is in so much pain, we are saying, "Come on, hey, listen to me. I need an answer. Listen to me." What I'm really doing is I am trying to engage, because in a submission, nothing's happening in the ring.
Yeah.
So the referee then have to take the place of the movement.
Yeah.
So what I'm then doing is I am trying to get people who may be sitting on the hands, may not be paying attention. I'll clap, I'll do whatever to try and engage them to either pay attention, or in the best case scenario, they will start clapping along, thinking we're trying to G up the face wrestler.
Energy going, yeah.
That's what it does. It gives a silent move a bang, which is what that's what you get whenever you see a power bomb, bang. You see someone chucking something up, bang.
And it's a subtle communication to the audience, like, come on, you guys can join in too.
I genuinely never
exactly that.
Think about every single time, especially massive matches. Oh,
I'm seeing so many moments flashing through my mind right now. I don't know about you, Brit.
I'm seeing William doing it. I'm seeing Bryce Rensburg do it. I'm seeing everyone doing that now. That's crazy.
Awesome. Yeah.
Well, we're also. Have you heard this phrase "mise en scène"?
Oh yeah. We media students. We went to TV and stuff.
So for anyone that doesn't know, I thought you would, but for anyone that doesn't know, it's basically content to the screen. So that is something that referees will always think about. We think, where is the majority of the audience looking at, and where are they situated? And we will try and play to that side of the audience, and we'll be very, very conscious of where we are. And we'll also do something called balancing the plate, where if all the action's on the left-hand side of the ring for whatever reason, we'll move to the right. So we're sort of balancing that plate. We're making it so it's visually good. I will try, and even though wrestlers never let me do this because I don't think they understand what I'm trying to do, I will always try and raise people's hands and be out of the frame. So I will I did it with Luke Jacobs and Ethan a few weeks ago. I tried to raise Ethan's hand, and he pulled me in the middle and got him to raise both hands. The reason I was trying to raise Ethan's hand and have Luke by the side of him is so that they could crop me out the picture if they needed to. But I don't think anyone ever really gets that, because they keep pulling me in the center. So yeah, we always think a lot about mise en scène and things like that. We always try and make our movements so we're not blocking any cameramen at ringside, etc. So yeah, the placement and blocking of people in the ring is massively important to a referee as well.
That's crazy. You just saying that kind of thing, I've even taken it to another level as far as, because I'm say big film buff, but you kind of incorporating the rule of thirds and these.
Yeah, exactly that.
Yeah, that's all I'm thinking now is in terms of editing and the shot that I would see. It's crazy. I've never, again, a completely different outlook on a referee that I've never even considered before because I've always known. Well, I say always known. I didn't realize until this time when me and Nick got back into wrestling as adults just how important they were. Like Nick, very different approach when she was a kid, but I was just a goofball little lad who liked, there we go, yay, great.
Yeah, exactly, cross chop. Yeah, yeah.
It was amazing, but like then I watch it now and I have such a deep love for it. And when I see referees, it's like you move the traffic and make sure it keeps going. Communication, what Nick was touched on it before, how we love to see people develop and win, in everything.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously we get to see that with all the wrestlers. It wasn't until we got into Britwres and saw referees at the same shows, and Nick, obviously with social media talking to yourself and stuff like that, it's like, oh, dude, like I can't remember who it was. Who I think it was Ref Wim who went to Japan, and he was so excited because he's such a, and we knew as well from speaking to him, he's such a huge fan of Japanese.
That was such a dream of his, by the way. I don't know if you know, it was such a dream of his.
Yeah.
We have obviously many ref chats, and right from the start of all the ref chats, he was very much, oh, I'll never get there, but wouldn't it be good if this happened? Wouldn't it be if that happened? And everyone in the ref chat could not be happier for him. It was such a wonderful moment when he finally did get across to DDT and did some matches.
Yeah, well, I think he was red shirt in a Progress, Wonder Brawl.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it was a
long time ago, and he was just talking about to me, I think to me and yourself, Pete, about Japanese wrestling and how much he wanted to go. I think it was like not many months later, or like half a year later, or something like that. It's like, I'm going to Japan. What the fuck, dude? But
so pleased for him.
Getting to see that and getting to hear you talk about it all, it's broadened everything as far as what I love about wrestling and Britwres, and this wonderful thing that we all go to see and go to be a part of. It's and the reason why we do stuff like this, podcasts like this, the reason why you do the stuff you do, so you can bring the wrestlers to the front and center and be like, these are people and this is their psychology. Maybe there's a connection between the things they love and the things they present to you. So, like, honestly, this is it's you've warped my mind, man, on a Friday night. It's been a week.
That's the aim. Always the aim.
Pete, you had some really good questions written down, and I know we covered at least one of them. Have you got any that you'd like to throw to?
Let's get again, Pete.
No,
I think you've practically covered pretty much nearly all of them, to be fair, in one way or another. I
told you I can't stop talking.
I was going to say, what you were talking about, the kind of like the emotions and like the 5 count where you don't fully abide by it, but you're very vocal to bring the crowd in, like telling them doing that, especially at the Warrington Town Wrestling show the other week.
Yes. That was practically a cartoon.
Because I think it was Matt Williams wanted to do a punch to Deacon Cross, and you said to him, "Get back," and then he said, "Can I just hit him just once? Please let me hit him, Steve." And your face is just full blown cartoon, big eyes, just going, "No, get back, let him out the corner." I was just like, one, and it was just that case of like. And then he did it anyway. And also,
there's different kind of referee stees as well. I mean, I will be a different referee stee at Warrington Town Wrestling than I will at TNT or at other places I've been to, like Infinite. And if you see me on some of the Welsh shows, I am so cartoony. Yeah. But there's different levels because it's different audiences. And,
it's horses for courses, in a sense.
It is.
Yeah, and then you got your family shows, and there's more like a much younger audience. So I imagine, with that, you probably are going to go a little bit more cartoony than you would kind of like, big angry, get in the ring. Like, you also kind of have to have that balance.
But there was, I mean,
talk about Grand Pro Wrestling when I lost it at Grand Pro Wrestling.
I was going to bring up Grand Pro in the 6-man tag on the last show. Because I think I might have used it as possibly the screenshot for the podcast.
Oh, did you? Good.
I might have done, because it was effectively you had RPD, Jack Johnson, Franco Fate, Sam Gradwell, Sandy Beach, and
Rob Drake.
Sorry, mine completely slipped. And you've got these 6 massive men all wanting to get,
and then Jack Johnson.
Yes, you said that. So you've got these 6 blokes that just want to beat the hell out of each other, and the scariest person in the ring was Steve saying, "Get in your respective corners. I've had enough now."
Get in your respective corners.
And you could see Jack just going, "Okay." He very quickly went into his corner.
But you've got to be the authority. That's the thing. You've got to let them get away with so much, and then you've got to say, "No, I am the authority." Because if they're cheating behind the authority's back, it's so much more gratifying than if you've got someone who's incompetent.
Yeah,
it's a bit like the like you said, credibility. If you've got 6 people that are just kind of like taking the mick, so to speak, if you have a referee, it's just going, "Please, can you go over in your corner? Can you go over in your corner?" You need someone strong-willed in that situation. And I'm not blowing smoke up your backside here, Steve. You are, I feel, one of the best referees for it. You will not.
You're wrong, but thank you.
You will not take crap. You will give it out as much as kind of like they do, which is why I love you, Steve.
Thank you.
But it is one of the, a couple of things you've kind of touched on it already, but I'll loosely ask it. When you mentioned about advice you give to referees and things like that,
yes.
I was going to ask you, what's the best piece of advice you got that you've passed on, and you thought, "I've never thought of it that way," and then you've kept that and maybe passed it on, or you still use to this day as like the main?
Don't know if it's advice that I was sort of given as such, but obviously we did our training with Sam Bailey. Well, not with Sam Bailey. We did it at Future Shock with James Greenwood, but everything under the sort of the umbrella of Sam Bailey, and Sam didn't speak to us individually, but he made it very clear. He said, "Look, just bear in mind, you are part of the show. You are not the show. You are not there to sell tickets." And whereas that wasn't mind blowing to me, I knew that. I still think that's the single biggest piece of advice that you can give a referee. You are there to support. You are part of the show. You are in the ring, and you are fortunate to be in the ring. But the support staff, the commentators, the ring announcers, the referee, those are your 3 main support staff. We are there to support. That's the key thing. You get some referees who, whether they know it or not, and I'm sure people accuse me of doing this sometimes, is they overact to the extent that they pull tension and they try and make themselves a star. I am not a big fan of referees looking like a threat. And the way I say this is because, yes, I do get, and I do put some authority on it. But if you look, when push comes to shove, I act like a coward and I go down dead easy. I don't want to appear like I'm going to punch someone and launch them, because I'm a big guy, as we've mentioned a couple of times. I can launch some wrestlers from one end of the room to another. So I've got to be very, very careful that I always make it look like I am less than them. Yeah. So I can have that authority, but I still need to be less than. And not obviously, Isaac North is very, very, very talented man, much bigger than me. But he's just the first example I can give. Me and Isaac have got a shorthand where he will basically, if I'm doing the 5 count in the corner or something, he knows how to get a reaction out of me, because he will just snap his head, turn, and go, "Oh," and then and we know that, and we can slip back into that. So he looked strong. I like, okay, I'm still going to try and do it, but you've taken me down a peg. I'm more of a coward now than I was 5 seconds ago. And that's what you're going to do. You've got to work around the talent, because if you're out there and you're being forceful and you're doing spots where you're getting physically involved, the most I'll do is a push. If someone pushes me, I'll lose my rag all of a sudden and I'll push someone. I will never do. There's a spot where people do a stone cold stunner off someone. They lose the rag, they'll do a stone cold stunner. I personally don't believe in that. And that's predominantly because I'm a big guy. If I was a short guy or a thin guy, it would be less of a problem. But the minute I start doing an actual move on people, that's when it becomes, oh no, you're a physical threat. You're on the same level as these guys, and that can never ever happen.
Yeah.
For the same reason, I'm not a big fan of referees being in wrestling matches. Unless they're doing the David Arquette thing where they're not a credible threat, they're just put in a position and that's it. But I don't think a referee should be in a match because, again, deep cut old school thing. Is anyone aware of Dangerous Danny Davis?
I'm not.
So, for anyone that doesn't know, Dangerous Danny Davis in the mid 80s was a professional referee, got into an angle with the British Bulldogs and the Heart Foundation where he was an evil referee. He then started still dressing in the stripes, but became a professional wrestler. And he was on the road for maybe a year or so. But he wasn't making it as a professional wrestler. He had to go back to being a referee. And it was very, very, very difficult. Because once you've shown yourself to be a credible threat, going back to that position of being a ref where you're supposed to be unseen until you need to be seen, you can't do it. So it's a cautionary tale, stuff like that. And that's why I personally am not a fan of referees being credible threats in matches. There was one at Salford City Wrestling where you'll remember this, Pete, where I was in a match. Were you there as well, you guys? I think you might have been, actually. Aitonstein and Tom Thelwell.
I don't think they've.
Yeah. We were there.
So to set the scene, the banter bus with Thelwell, they were doing a gimmick where they were being silly gooses for several months, and Aitonstein was trying to get a match with Tom Thelwell. What happened was they said, "Yeah, we've got you a match with referee Steve Grimshaw." So I act all surprised and all that jazz. And what I do is I play to the audience a little bit, look around going, I don't know about this, don't know about this. I do the worst roll-up you've ever seen in your entire life because I'm not a wrestler. Kicks out at one, goes to attack me, hits the referee Thelwell. He then awards the decision to referee Steve Grimshaw. So I am in that match. I am not a credible threat. That is a fluke. I can live with stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because my performance is to the service of those two wrestlers. But if it's a proper physical match where I'm picking out of people's finishers and stuff, no, absolutely not.
That's fair. I will say I am always the big fan of kind of like the long suffering ref finally getting a little bit of revenge. A
little bit fine.
Especially on a shithouse. Love that shit. So I will always pop for it. I know it's not everybody's kind of cup of tea. I do love, I love it when Bryce Ramsberg with MJF, he's always get, eventually he'll kick his hand or something because he's taking the piss. So he'll kick his hand.
I've done that spot. I don't like that spot.
I know not everybody likes it, but it's like, again, with say Bryce and MJF, they've had such a intertwined thing where and he takes the piss, and after a while it's like, am I a mug? So I get it, So I respect spots like that, and I also kind of do I loved it not long ago at North. I think it was Katie actually.
I was thinking straight away.
Match, Skinner was just being a dickhead, for want of a better word. It's Skinner. And at the end of it, she popped a stunner on him. Loved it. I thought it was freaking sensational. And again, it's always.
I'm fine with Katie doing it because she's so petite.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. But whenever I've seen it done, it's always done with, I guess, that in mind, and I'd never considered it. But it's always done with, like, for example, yeah, Bryce gets a little bit big for his boots, and he'll kick MJF's hand and stuff. But there will come a point in the match where Matt will get mad at him and tower over him for a second, and that's all you need to be reminded. You are, I'm the authority, but don't forget, I can kick your ass. And so there should always be that. There's a level of respect, and then, but yeah, you do. When you get a heel who is taking liberties and being physical with the ref, I don't mind if at the end of the match, when the match is said and done, which usually is when it happens, if the ref gets a little bit of I don't mind that. I find that really fun.
It bothers me when people are expecting a payoff.
Power balance and a payoff.
Yes.
Yeah,
if it adds to the story, it's like certain moves. If it adds to the actual match itself and gives people that feeling, that really fun, nice, good feeling, then or just a great pop and a great moment for everyone to enjoy, that adds to it.
Yeah,
then it's worth it.
It's just us being humbled. Everybody loves it.
But it's again, you can't do too much though. That's the thing. It's
but listen to the way you just described that. Shithouse being humble, not a referee beating someone up. Shithouse being humble. That's the way you phrase that. So that's the difference. Because I'm not above doing silly shit, because I have done. I mean, I've done a match where the Grinch came into the ring, breathed an onion on someone, and I counted the 3. That's in my match book.
I was going to ask.
That's an official match
you've ever had, but I guess that might be it.
Oh, it's that one. Yeah, 100%. That was a match. The bell rang. I'm treating that as a match.
Oh yeah.
Love
you
that.
counted the 3.
I love wrestling. I love wrestling for all the weird and wacky stuff. And that was, I think, one of the questions that we all had was like, what is the weirdest or like the wackiest kind of match that you've had to ref? Because there's so much weird stuff, even down to refereeing in a cave with a sheer drop down side for people. Yeah. Mr. Blobby is a wrestler, or even down to having an invisible man. There's just so many random weird combinations of matches that referees will find themselves in. And I would love
We've done invisible man matches.
Right?
We've done invisible man matches in training.
Oh, yes.
I imagine that's great training, actually, for communication and facial expression and everything, actually. Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
One other match that
Bryce Remsburg with the Invisible Man, that was fantastic.
That's what we do. Yeah, because I even took a bump like he did as well. I took a bump, and referee rolled in and he finished the match off with a 3, and I'm lying there like, what happened? So yeah, we like fun like that. Another match I did was a wrestler. It was a 20 or 30 man pinfall battle royal. A wrestler. There was 2 wrestlers in the ring, and it was the 3rd entrant, and then lo and behold, I was the 3rd entrant. So I was like, "I'm coming for you," and I did the whole doing the ropes and everything, and I actually turned on the theatrics for it, because it was a silly show at TWA, Tenacious Wrestling Alliance, very, very silly. The show where there is an invisible horse as one of the roster members, very, 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 very silly. No longer around, which I'm very sad about. But I was the 3rd entrant, and one of my friends who are like a good guy wrestler, he delivered flying clothesline to me, covered me, and I actually counted myself down for the 3. And then I continue to ref the rest of the match, partially dazed. So that's possibly the weirdest.
See, this is why it's such a great opportunity for some good old fashioned slapstick, ridiculous British humour, isn't it? I love it.
And you've got to have that for every Chris Ridgway match. You've got to have an invisible horse.
Wrestling can be a variety show, man.
It is.
You know what I mean?
It's art.
It's art. It's all theatre. It's all very much sport, but it's everything does have its place. It's
so many cogs within that machine as well.
So many things that
coming back.
Like we came back to the Rumble it was all about the Rumble, and then like
it's no longer about any further away, less about the Rumble.
And now here we are, like just kind of going to Wales to watch, Mystery Wrestling, all the goofiest shit.
Why not?
You can see going to Salford, going up to Leeds,
Future
all
stuff, yeah.
and it's very cool, and we get to see you all, you got the same faces at these shows, the refs that we know,
yeah,
people that we actually get to cheer on and stuff like that. It's brilliant, man.
To say one of the best memories that I've got of you is you walking towards us, brandishing a baseball bat at Bolton Town Wrestling.
Hi guys.
Say something like I'm Sting. Because I was wearing a Sting t-shirt as well, and I hadn't even realised. I was like, I'm Sting.
You were a full Sting thing. Yeah. Okay. Coming towards us at the Hot Tub Foundation table with your baseball bat. What have you done?
That's the show we did a reverse ref bump on as well.
Sorry?
That's the show we did a reverse ref bump on.
Yes. It was fun. It's a good show, though.
Cartoon. Good show, yeah. Love Bolton.
Hope to get back to one of those soon at some point. It's not that far away from us, really. It's really. No.
Well, it's around the corner from me. From my doorstep, if I go one direction, I'm at Bolton Town Wrestling. I go the other direction, I'm at Grand Pro Wrestling. So two lovely companies that I consider to be my home promotions, really.
Yeah, love. And have we got? I think it was. Did you have another question, Pete, or have we covered all of them?
Just let me scroll down because I was checking.
Whilst we're waiting, I've got a question for you, Pete. Why have you got the logo on the side of your head? Is it for only people that are looking at you from the side?
It's because I have a big head and the logo just moves around.
Interesting.
Constantly thinking and ruminating, and the hat just slowly spins. If you watch closely,
go with that. It's not
you'll see it.
Answer.
No, you say that, but when I see you in the crowd now, what you need to do is just move your head ever so slightly every few minutes. So every time I look back, it's moved.
So effectively, when we do it, it'll be like, it's how you'll know it'll be like match 1, match 2, match 3, match 4.
Yeah,
all the way around. We know it's the main event.
There you go. There you go. That'll be something I'll look at and I'll giggle about.
I have one. Well, I've got 2 more questions. The last question would be the one that we end the podcast with. It's the one that I end up. I'm going to be doing them all with. But this one is any combination in the world. It can be past, present, whatever. If you could referee anyone in any match, what would it be? Who would it be?
Tag team match: Bret and Owen Hart versus Mr. Perfect and the Great Muta.
Wow. Nice. Already locked and loaded. You've had that one.
One thing I would say is I'd love to speak to you again and go into some like wrestling history with you, because that's the thing that we're always picking up slowly but surely in documentaries, books, all sorts of stuff that we've gone through over the last couple of years. Love to speak some like proper old school wrestle law with you. Some later date.
Can I just give a bit of a plug to a couple of books that I've read recently? I say read, I do it on audiobook because I'm always driving places, or I'm going for a walk, or I'm at the gym or whatever. I do go to the gym, believe it or not. Something that I've been really, really enjoying is the work of Stephen Bell. He came up with a couple of great books, but the book that stuck with me more than anything was Dynamite and Davy, the story of the British Bulldogs, and it looks at the history of Lancashire wrestling as well as just Dynamite and Davy. It mentions places where I walk past on a daily basis, like Howbridge. It talks about the Snake Pit, which is down the road from me. It's a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful book. He's got a new book out at the moment called Big Daddy and Giant Haystacks, which is, again, a really, really great book. And I always recommend Stephen Bell books, but specifically the Dynamite and Davy is an absolute art form of book. I'm going to reread it again at some point because I enjoyed the Big Daddy and Giant Haystacks one so much. And also, I've just got done with the Gorilla Monsoon book, which, if you don't know anything about Gorilla Monsoon, it's a wonderful, wonderful book. He's probably most famously known for being the gorilla position. That was based on where he stood behind the scenes and where he would sort of agent the match. But what a lot of people don't know is his relationship with senior Vince McMahon, and the fact that he held a stake in Capital Wrestling / WWF. A great, great book on that. And those are two books that I've read recently and really, really enjoyed. So I urge people, if they, especially if they are fans of old school wrestling and wrestling in our local area as well. Big Daddy and Giant Haystacks is wonderful. Gives you a real sense of how much of a phenomenon professional wrestling was before WWF come over.
Yeah.
It's funny you mentioned about Lancashire wrestling, because I'm from Loughton, so it's like it.
Oh, great!
Right next
I'm Atherton.
Yeah, sorry.
I'm Atherton.
Oh, right, yeah. So you literally just down the line.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's so weird you saying that. It's like I grew up literally was
surrounded by wrestling lore
right on my doorstep in Goulburn, like next door in Goulburn.
Yeah,
it's so strange to coming into it to hear all that, and I will give that a listen. I'm also saying love audio books when I'm on my walks with the dogs and stuff like that. So that'll be the next one.
Yeah.
Move on from mafia and crime and stuff like that. Let's get back to wrestling.
Yeah,
Plenty of crime in wrestling, believe me.
Oh,
yeah.
Really does.
Podcast in itself. He got really super ready for it. Let's do it.
That's like you could do a 24-hour live stream podcast about the crimes in wrestling. Just penciled in after that.
But do it like the old unsolved mysteries kind of thing, or like guy walking a trench coat,
or like film noir style, maybe.
Yeah. What happens when you go to Costa Rica?
What, having wearing a Big Daddy singlet?
For no reason, just a cigar.
Yeah.
Well, then
don't ever acknowledge it.
If there's no more other questions, Pete,
I am completely done.
Then, have you ever seen Hot Fuzz?
Look at me. So
the friendliest neighborhood journo, Tim Messenger, has a very good question that I want to start ending our podcast with, and it is, what is your perfect Sunday?
Well, I mean, it's got to be the wrestling, but it's got to be an afternoon show.
Oh,
and it's not only I've got to have a fairly early dart, so I'd like the afternoon show to finish around 3 or 4, so I'm back home, and I'd like to get a very, very, very nice takeaway, and watch some crappy films straight afterwards, something like your Screams or something like that, whilst I fester away with my shaking legs because I'm tired.
Nice. That sounds like a perfect Sunday.
Hi.
Yeah. Hi. Thank you so much, Steve, for coming and chatting to us about your wonderful podcast, about refereeing, about the nuances and just everything all encompassing. Thank you so much. It has been Mr. Steve Grimshaw.
Whoa. Thank you very much.
Thank you.